Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to do a deep dive into one of the newest, not the newest, but one of the newest 338 cartridges. We are going to look into the 33 Nosler. We're going to look at its history, its dimensions, and its performance, and kind of why I'm scratching my head on this cartridge and asking, but why? Hope you enjoy the video. Let's first start with the history and its dimensions. So the history of the 33 Nosler, it's one of the newer ones, not the newest. That goes to the 27 Nosler. The 33 Nosler was introduced in 2017. The parent case, a lot of people will argue semantics about this, whether it's the 404 Jeffrey case or just a shortened 300 rum. I'll say it's just a shortened 300 rum, but really it's just a copy of the 26 Nosler. But here's where it's a little different. It's actually a little bit shorter than all the other Nosler cartridges. Let's start looking at the case dimensions. The case to the shoulder, 2.016, and then the full length of just the case is 2.460. Let's quickly go to the most popular Nosler, 28 Nosler. And as you can see, to the shoulder, 2.166 and then 2.590. So the 28 Nosler is a little over 1/10 of an inch longer, and so you're going to have a little more powder capacity. But the cartridge overall length is the exact same at 3.340. Let's go ahead and look at the performance of the 33 Nosler. This is with a 225 grain bullet. Nosler says 2986. That's pretty darn good. Getting really close to 300 Weatherby performance. And then a 250 grain, we are at almost 2800. This one's a little head scratcher because when you flip to the next page with the 265, it's claiming 2850, as you can see there. A little odd, but you know, sometimes that kind of happens. And then for those that are really wanting to shoot some long distance, the big old 300 grainer, a little over 2550. Not great. So this shorter case you can start to see some of its disadvantages with the 33 Nosler with the biggest bullets. The question that you might ask is, why did Nosler make a 33 Nosler? Well, my answer is that it's a modern replacement for the 338 Win Mag. So this is, power-wise, is right in between a 338 Win Mag and a 340 Weatherby. It just doesn't have the belt. And yeah, it sits right in between there, and it's pretty good performance. Now, when you go to Nosler's website, they actually have a different reasoning for the 33 Nosler. I guess they're going for the bigger fish, which this here, I'm just going to say it's a little bit of false marketing, a little overhyped for the 33 Nosler. Let's see why. It's capable of propelling a 225 grain at 3,025 feet per second. Funny, the books didn't say that. And the brand new 265 grain AccuBell long range at 2775, which is pretty good. So it's 275 feet per second faster than a 338 Win Mag and 25 feet per second faster than a 338 Laua. What? Okay, so let's look into this a little more. So on my left is a 338 Laua. On my right, sorry guys, I don't have a 33 Nosler, but I do have a 28 Nosler. Now remember, the 33 Nosler is 1/10 of an inch shorter, so it's going to be even smaller than the 28 Nosler. So how on earth does the 338 Laua not go faster than a 33 Nosler? Well, as I said, Nosler is fudging with the numbers a bit. Let me show you. Now we're on to the 338 Laua. Now, Nosler claims that their 225 grain is going 25 feet per second faster than a 338 Laua. Now, that it was comparing factory ammo. But when you actually hand load, well, you can get 3,100. I've looked at the Hornady data, and it says 3,100 easily. So, a couple things. The Nosler is known for kind of watering down other cartridges with their ammo. I've noticed that with 6.5 Creedmoor, and obviously with 338 Lapua and a 225 grain only going 3,000. But when I was looking at all the other 338 Lapua ammo, none of them were really offered with a 225 grain. Usually the slowest or the lightest bullet is the 250 grain, and it's going 29.38. In fact, all the factory ammo had it at 29.50. And then the 265 grain, which Nosler also said the 33 Nosler was matching or even exceeding the 338 Lapua. Yeah, not really. You can get over 2,900 feet per second with a 265 grain compared to 2775 with the 33 Nosler. So Nosler's just fudging with the numbers a bit. Now let's see how the 33 Nosler compares to its competition. Let's just start with the 338 Winchester Magnum. We're all going to use the same 250 grain AccuBond. And this Velocity 2700, yes, you could probably get more. And I'm going to say this the exact same with the other numbers for the other cartridges. I'm sure you could hot rod it and get a little bit more. But on average, 2,700 feet per second, muzzle energy of 4,047 foot-pounds. And then we're just going to look at the energy and drop at 500 yards, 338 Win Mag, 2,169 foot-pounds, and 55.3 inches of drop. Moving on to 33 Nosler, 250 grain at 2,800 feet per second. Yes, I know some of you can get more. The book doesn't even say 2,800, but I'm just going to give it the benefit of the doubt. You can get 4,353 foot-pounds at the muzzle at 500 yards. It has almost 200 more foot-pounds advantage over the 300 Win Mag and 5 inches of less drop. And then you get to the 340 Weatherby. You can get at least 2,900. I know Weatherby factory ammo has it at like 2,950. 4,669 foot-pounds of energy, 500 yards. You are getting 2,553 foot-pounds. So again, almost 200 more foot-pounds. And then 4 inches of less drop. Let's move on to the 338 Lapua Magnum, a 250 grain at 2,950. Your energy 4,832 foot-pounds. Energy at 500, 2,654 foot-pounds. Only 44 inches of drop. So there's about a 300 foot-pound difference between a 338 Lapua and a 33 Nosler. So they're not exactly the same. The Lapua definitely has some advantage. Then let's get to the 338, 378 Weatherby. And you can push a 250 grain 3,050 feet per second. You're over 5,000 foot-pounds of energy, 5,165. And then at 500 yards, 2,861 foot-pounds. So over 200 more foot-pounds than the Lapua, but only 3 inches less of drop. Now you're probably wondering, where's the ROM? Well, it's basically the same as the Lapua and the Weatherby, so the numbers are going to be extremely close to those. I want to talk about the good and the bad of the 33 Nosler. Let's first start with the good. I think this is a very efficient Magnum. You know, it's getting close to 340 Weatherby performance, but with a lot less powder. And overall, it's a good cartridge. And it's not belted, so it is a modern Magnum, which is nice for a lot of people that don't like belts. But let's get to the bad. Why I question why it was even made. This cartridge is really doing nothing that hasn't been done before. So it's a little bit faster than a 338 Win Mag, and I guess the only argument I could see is if you wanted 338 Win Mag performance with no belt. That's all I could see why it was made. Now Nosler claims that it's just as good as a Lapua, but it's a little bit of nonsense, if you ask me. Well, let's get to what if you wanted to shoot long range. Here's another bad for the 33 Nosler. It's not big enough to propel the 300 grainers. Sorry, but 2550 is just not a good velocity for a 300 grain bullet. So people that want to do extreme long range, well, most of them are going to do some of the Wildcat cartridges like the 338 Edge or 33 XC. So they're not going to go with some of the Sammy spec cartridges, but while other Nosler cartridges are used for extreme long range, I just think this one's not a great fit for that.